See, look, Bell Promenade. If they had came to Bell Promenade back then, they'd leave R. Kelly alone right now. I'm telling you, they had a whole lot of R. Kellys back then. I took all our women. That's why I'm mad.
Yes, they had a power show too, right there.
Yeah, Roman over there, Eric, man, taking all our women, man. God dog it. Oh man, let me feel the jazz. Yeah. Woo. Yo, happy Friday. Man, it's Friday. Welcome back to the TalkJay radio show. Every single Friday evening, we live. I can't say it how they say it, but we live, baby. Listen, we're in the studio, WBOK 1230. Listen, tune in. Go to Facebook right now and tune in to the radio show right now. We have an amazing show lined up for us today. Mr. Melvin Frazier in the building to talk about the wonderful things that he is doing towards mental health and homelessness. We have Hyperphlyy in the building today, man. I'm so excited about that group and what they have to offer to our culture and what they have to offer to another narrative as it relates to African Americans. And Miss Morgan Taylor, I mean, the curls is the world, man. So we're excited today for another TalkJay radio show. Hey, man, listen, whatever you do, make sure you're tuning in. Thank you to all of our new listeners. At any time, you can call in 504-260-9265. I pray you had a fantastic week, that everything went well. If it didn't go well, it's going to go well after this radio show. I mean, so much information, impartation, impactful, raw, relevant information that we're going to share today. And listen, I don't want to waste no time at all introducing and welcoming Mr. Melvin Frazier to the TalkJay radio show, man. Welcome to the TalkJay radio show, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Man, you hear that voice? Thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, man, we're excited for what you're doing in your community. Number one, we want to say congratulations on all your success and all the various things that have came your way. But one of the things that I do want to applaud, Jazz, we got to give him some claps on this one. One of the things I do want to applaud is that you didn't take that platform and go elsewhere to make impact and impartation on various other communities, but you came right back home, man. Listen, man, I think everybody in the studio ought to clap that up, man. It's we see that all the time in New Orleans and various communities around the country where people they excel, they succeed, right? And then they go away from home to make impact when they can make a bigger impact in their own community and from the demographic they grew up in. But man, you have an exciting event coming up tomorrow, man. You excited about it?
Yeah, very excited.
Very excited about it, man. So listen, let me ask you a question, man. We just jump right into this thing, man. What made you want to create this event, and really honestly, what's the mission behind this event?
All right, so the reason being, it's like coming up, from the west side of New Orleans.
Yeah.
They got a lot of homeless people on both sides, but being on my side, when I was young and I played sports, we used to have the can shake, like to raise money.
For
us to play and stuff.
Yeah.
And like coming up, I see a lot of kids still doing that, and I ain't gonna say who, but somebody in my family was like kind of like homeless as he got older. And just seeing him go through what he went through, like sleeping in a car, stuff like that, like, that's not a good feeling. Like, I don't want to see that. So, I mean, as now I'm in the NBA, I'm using my platform to try to, like, help, spread the word and try to help these people out and get better to what they need to be doing.
Man, you know what? Another thing that I want to say thank you for is that you are tackling issues that a lot of people run away from, okay? One of the issues is homelessness and mental health and all of these big old issues that not just NBA players are running from, but honestly, our world is running from it, especially in Louisiana after they cancel so many mental health facilities and so many agencies, which we call outpatient agencies today. They're not doing the job that they're supposed to be doing, and we can get into that hoopla negativity. But I want to thank you again for tackling some of the big issues that a lot of people run and strive away from. And I used to shake some cans too, man. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
No, I used to shake them cans, man. I used to help the elderly put their bags in their trunk and give me a little 5 cent, 15 cent, 20 cent at Wagman. You know what I'm saying, man? Let me ask you a question, man. How important is mental health and awareness about homelessness to you? And I heard a part of that story just now, man. But like, how does that deeply rooted outside of just being your kinfolk, man? When you ride down the street and you see them under the bridge, man. Like, what are some of the thoughts that go through your mind, man? It's
crazy, man. There's all type of thoughts. But I seen the other day that the mayor had mentioned something about that, about the mental health stuff.
Yeah.
And like we was already on it, but me and Donald, we talked about it. But like thoughts, it's like all type of things. Like you don't know what they going through or what they've been through to put them there.
So when people be riding by, I ain't giving them no money. They got enough help and strength to go out there and get their own job. Well, they're looking at it from one perspective.
Right.
You have vets out there that's dealing with PTSD. Mm-hmm. You have people with different type of what we call psychosis, right? And when dealing with this psychological and psychology stuff, when they talk about psychosis, people are not looking from the same vantage point that you're looking from, and they come up from different perspectives, right? Mm-hmm. So when they ride and talk about, man, they can just go get a job like we get a job. They got enough health and strength, man. Like, right. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I mean, me personally, I don't look at it like that because I never knew what that person been through or was going through. So like, if I can help them, whatever I got, I give to them, like whenever. And just people just think different. Like, I can't tell this person to give this person that. That's just
man. Do you hear this, man? Young man thinking like that, man. You know how many people don't have that heart? You know what I mean? Like. Outside of just looking at them in that perspective, and a couple of months ago, this TalkJay radio show, I'm not pastoring in the studio, so I can pretty much, do my thing. We was talking about Bell Promenade, talk about, we can't tell them what we talk about Donald, but we was talking, right? Some of the things that people slip drugs and people drinks and they lost their mind, and now they sleeping under the bridge, and instead of looking at what we call the core, the source of why they the way they are. We ready to pass judgment on them for where they are. And I once again, man, commend you for the work that you all are doing and the things that you are doing for the mental ill and for the homeless individuals in our city. And I think if everybody had your attitude in your heart, I think, man, we wouldn't see nobody under that bridge. Would you agree with that, man? If everybody had your heart, no, honestly, man, we wouldn't see all of that stuff. And you know what hurt my heart the most? And I'm not sure you'd be around when we see the Saints game, man, they clear all them people out. And then when everybody leave the city, they let them all right back under there. Like it's, I think that's horrible to me personally. They probably going to get mad at me from saying it, but that's cool. Man, listen, you got an exciting event tomorrow, man. So what's your patrons expect when they attend the event tomorrow? What we coming to, man?
It's a 3-on-3 event, Who's for the homeless, trying to raise money, raise clothes, shoes, whatever, like old clothes, whatever you can't fit, baby stuff, bras for the women. They got women, they got babies, all type of stuff. Come on,
bras, socks,
yeah, stuff like that. And, if you can't stay to watch or play, you can just donate and just
how people can get involved with the event, man.
If they can attend it, donate to it. What they donating to? Give me some details about the event that people can really honestly respond to your request. Say it again.
How can people give to it?
I got Cash App. They got a place they have to where you drop off whatever you need to drop off to, stuff like that. You do it like that.
Yeah. So is that the Alaria Center?
Yeah, the Alaria Center.
What time?
And doors open at 10. Games start at 10:30.
You playing?
Nah, I can't play that, man.
You can't?
Nah.
You can put me in?
Come on, scrap up.
Hey, listen, man, it's such a pleasure to not only see that and let me ask you this question, right? We about to wrap this up, and at any time you can call in 504-260-9265. I ask every person that come in this show, and for those who are waiting, I always ask who you are today, Melvin today. What would you tell? 3 things that you would tell young Melvin when he was growing up, if you had a chance to tell him that.
3 things?
3 things, man. What would you tell him?
First of all, I would say keep God first. You know, pray, which is I did. Second thing I would say, listen to your parents. My mom raised me good. My mom and dad, stepdad. So parents play a big role in what you do. And school, really. I say school.
Get educated.
Yeah.
Let me jump back on point number 2, and then I'm going to let you go, man, because I know you're a busy guy. Thank you for stopping by TalkJay Radio Show. There's a lot of juvenile crime that's happening in the city of New Orleans, and I've been an advocate, and we do a lot of proactive strategies to try to prevent what we call property crime. So in New Orleans, they have a lot of kids taking other people's cars. You know, I mean, the normal thing that happen in communities, especially when it's, marginalized.
Right.
When you said listen to your parents, there was this big old debate between people telling the mayor and the chief that they are responsible for their kids, and then the mayor and them call out saying, no, y'all responsible for your own kids. If you had an opportunity to talk to some young brothers, man, you don't know who listening to this across America. I was in Dallas the other day, and they was telling me to listen to our show, and I was in Tampa, Florida just the past week, and they were saying they listened to our show. If a young brother just so happened to be listening to this radio show, man, if you can help them, right? Tell them some of the things to empower them to listen to their parents and how important that is. I come up from the project, so we had what we call a village, man. If I did something on Hindi court, then they'll bring me on Big Whitney, and everybody beat me. But that's different today. Don't touch my child type situation. But what would you tell a young brother before you leave out the studio, man?
I mean, really, like I said, really just listen to your parents. Like they'll never steal your room. Like they want to see what's good for you. So I mean, there's nothing they can really tell you that they won't want bad for you. So 9 times out of 10, if you listen to what they tell you, be successful.
Yeah, man. Thank you so very much for stopping by the TalkJay Radio Show. Hey, listen, man. When we come back, we got Hyperphlyy in the studio. I mean, Hyperphlyy. Y'all gotta check it out the mud, man. I mean, listen, when we come back, man, we're gonna listen to all that and hear their story. We on our way. Thank you, big brother.
This life that was made for me. See where you swiped it up a truck, and mama came with me. We fight her on up, head to the big easy. It's a whole different world. Yeah, it's definitely something bigger. I've seen the greatest things I've never seen, and this life that was made for me. I had a whole lot of fun in Poplarville, late nights and bonfires, I miss it still. I gotta go now so I can chase the world. There ain't no holding down a country girl.
Welcome back to the TalkJay Radio Show, man. We're so excited. Every single Friday, it's time to turn up. Get all the way up there. Listen, we got Hyperphlyy in the studio, and they are amped. I mean, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? What I'm saying? Listen, we excited. Another episode of TalkJay Radio Show. We have Melvin Frazier tomorrow at the Alaria Center. Get every bit of information you possibly can. Hoop for the homeless. And as they tackle mental health, we are always excited about when people address some of the serious issues in our community and tackle and provide solutions and not just conversation with problems. So we're excited. Big ups to Melvin Frazier from the Orlando Magic. We're excited that he stopped by TalkJay Radio Show, man. Thank you again on behalf of TalkJay Radio Show. But man, we got Hyperphlyy in this studio. And listen, man, I got to be honest. Well, let me go ahead on and say welcome to the TalkJay Radio Show.
Hey, thank you for having us.
They've been holding that hello in for the past
Since we walked in the building, we're ready. Like,
already in the face. Just waiting.
That hello came on fire just right. Listen, Hyperphlyy, we thank you so very much for stopping by to Talk to the Radio Show. And I want to officially say welcome, right? Welcome to the Talk to the Radio Show.
We feel welcome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, and that, since I've been listening to the video and to the music, I'm a big fan. Country music, the stories that comes behind country music and where it leads you, imagination, and all those type of things. I'm a picturesque learner, right? Country can start talking about a dog in the field and a rabbit picking corn. I mean, they can talk about.
Before you know, by the end of the song, you got that on your own booth.
Yeah, you talk about a woman by the end of the song. You're like, man, I can't believe that, right? So, thank you all so very much for stopping by. But we can start from the left, from the window to the wall.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Come on, give me that name.
I'm Danica.
I'm Devin. And I'm Tree. And we're Hyperphlyy.
Oh, y'all
We've been practicing for 2 weeks. So we can nail it.
Oh, my God. Y'all had that down.
That's right.
Listen, I got to be honest with you. I grew up in, everybody I think come from different cultures, right?
Uh-huh.
And Poplarville.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
And that's rare because a lot of people say Popularville.
Yeah. Poplarville, Mississippi. M-I.
Crazy letter I.
Shucks. That's it. Thank you so very much. Hey, listen. So, coming from different demographics, I got to ask this question in the beginning.
Yeah.
Why country?
You know, a lot of people ask why did we decide to go country, but since we were born country, it wasn't even so much going country. It's just embracing who we already really were.
Yeah, like they should have asked us, well, why did y'all go back? Country music first. But we're 3 of 108 grandkids.
Whoa, wait! Don't you pass that up now? Come on now,
so our grandmother, she had 17 kids, and so there's 108 first cousins, and so we Tree and I originally started Hyperphlyy, and so and so Tree and I were always like the black sheep of the family. Like we were always.
You mean a soul star?
We were like the weird kids. We were like listening to like rock and roll and country, and just kind of the outcast, and so anyway, so that's pretty much when she ended up getting me to come down here, and that's pretty much how it started. When I got here, I was like, we wanted to do country music, and a lot of our musician friends were like, y'all, there's no market for country music here. You got to do the Irma Thomas. You got to do the jazz and the blues, and we just didn't really know any, and so it was like, well, so then we just kind of scaled it back and did kind of what we wanted. Just took a mixture of all of those things and put it together and put it in our show, and which kind of I think was ultimately what made Hyperphlyy, because before it didn't really have much of a meaning, but to go to the show and watch the show, it kind of has taken on its own meaning, and it's a Hyperphlyy experience.
Wow!
And so
wow! So hold on, wait. Hold on, wait. Hyperphlyy, so there's so many entrepreneurs, there's so many artists out there. They're struggling with name, right? And some of them come up with some of the weirdest names in the world. Where Hyperphlyy come from?
Hyperphlyy came from, I'm going to be honest, it came from a random word generator. And we realized we needed a name. We started out, Danica and I, singing on Royal Street. People kept asking, we didn't have a name. We didn't have a real identity. So we were just jamming in the kitchen one night, and we're like, okay, use this random word generator. Clicked, Hyper came up. A few songs later, Fly came up.
Wow.
The PAs. It's like, okay, we're 2 Ys.
Wow.
And for people struggling with a name, honestly, the name doesn't define what you do. You define that name. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's what you put into it.
That's what I was trying to get to. The mere fact that, and I asked that question. I posed that question to ask, why not another genre? How did you get, in the country, in that arena, that genre, and to really help people to understand that they have to dig deeper within and stop trying to become duplicates of everybody else.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So out of 108 grandkids, my mama had 12 kids. I was just messing with you. Because we just had fun. You understand what I'm saying? Every room was a party. Matter of fact, in our house we had different parties. You go in this room, you got an R&B party going on. You go in that room, you got a hut party going on. So we had multiple parties in one house. I was just kidding with y'all, but I mean, how has it been since y'all been together, man?
It's been crazy, incredible, like everything, every emotion.
Yeah. Is it what you dreamed it to be?
No, not for me personally. Like, I would have never, like, when I joined the group, like, I knew they were already, like, on the rise. I knew they were doing big things, but just coming in at the time that I did, it was like mid-peak, and then now we're like right at the top. So it's just taking off, and it's just mind-blowing to me, like.
Here's the big question. Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, Danica.
I was just gonna say though, like, but kind of like just the opposite for me. Like when I was little, like I knew from even when I was a little girl, like I wanted to be a country singer, but I just never saw anybody like me. I made a post today. I said I was chunky, I was a black girl, and I didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes, but I loved the music. I loved everything about it, and I loved how country music. No matter where you were emotionally, if you were the saddest of the saddest, or if you were super excited, like country just has a way of like taking you there in the most simplistic way. And I fell in love with it. And there was a girl, she hit me up and she was like, I remember us riding the bus and you were saying that you were going to be a country singer. She was like, I look at you. I was like,
wow.
And it's stuff like that it's like, okay, so I did want this my whole life. You know what I mean? And it's like.
It's all in your voice though. Y'all hear it?
Yeah.
It's in your voice. I tell you, so let me ask you another question. Here's the big question, right? Especially with groups, right? It's always this chemistry. They do well in the beginning, and then arguments and competition.
Honestly, I think you have the advantage at that point because at the end of the day, we're all related. We're gonna have to see each other and deal with each other in life, period. So we might as well go to.
So you always come to the family reunion or what?
No. We don't always come to the.
But no, I told them like we stuck together for life. Like this ain't going nowhere.
You know how most of the time people get together and like the first couple of years are good, and they start arguing. So we just argue and fuss now, so that way like. It's all in the plan already.
So listen, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like a marriage. I've always said once I get married, there's no divorce. Like we're not getting a divorce. They're stuck with me forever.
Interesting.
Y'all trying to leave me?
How do you feel about?
No.
So on TalkJay radio show, I always try to provide not just a platform for people to come tell their story, but also some helpful tools for other people who are trying to emulate these things, right?
Yeah,
One of the biggest things that I do, I always debunk, and I am a big advocate about not going with the narrative of the time. So a lot of people say that their friends are some of the biggest supporters of them, and they kind of like overshadow the whole family support system, right?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, talk to me. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Yeah, come on.
You must have been on our Facebook page, honey.
I was just going to say, because honestly, like, we have 108 first cousins, and with family alone, I'm pretty sure we can take over any industry we decide to go into. And it's been kind of strange, especially at this point in our career, just watching how fervently some people follow us. Like we had a guy come all the way to Austria just so he could see us perform on that big stage. And then we have sometimes people in the hometown who won't come down the street.
Yeah.
Wow.
And literally, we had an event. We did like a little CD signing in Poplarville because we did have some family who we know, like, they can't travel all the way down here. So
absolutely.
We did it in Poplarville.
You think they came to the show? TalkJay radio show?
No, not at all. Not the family.
I just had to throw it out there.
But so what we did was we decided, and I was talking to my aunt, and I was like, it costs us so much not so much, but it costs us money to come and set up and do an event here, and to have, not the family to show, at least the family to show up. Everybody else would be just extra. And so that would be my first thing. It's like, don't count on family to support you first. Let them be the extra. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let build your brand, and then if your family supports you, then that's the icing on the cake. Because then they'll come out and they'll do. And so that I think that would have really helped me in the beginning, because I just felt like we got all this family, we about to do it, and honey, you get started and they ain't nowhere to be found. So
it's some heartbreak if you're not prepared for that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Even now it's still kind of heartbreaking, and we've been doing this for a minute. So, but
So let me ask you this question: is that your biggest heartbreak since you've been doing it?
No, honey. This heart has been broken several times since we've been here. Look, but it's all a part of the journey, though. Like it is, and you'll find out that.
You mean to tell me, Danica, her heart got broken?
Yeah, it's a lot. but if you can make it through heartbreak, you can just about get through anything. If you can pull yourself back together, or trust God to bring you back together after heartbreak, you can. I promise you, every time you'll be able to keep climbing. You'll go higher and higher.
What's your biggest letdown since y'all started?
There's been so many.
Because social media is a highlight reel of success stories.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So when they get in this room, I'm coming in your heart. I'm trying to get all in your business.
Yes, come on. Look,
I think these platforms and these conversations are needed, because people are start out today think it's peaches and cream by looking at you all Instagram posts, and then when they run into some of those brick walls and those heartbreaks, they almost about to commit suicide and all these other things. And so these conversations are needed, and some of these, solutions are wanted to be talked about. You want.
For me, I think the support thing has been it's been kind of hard to do, especially more recently than when I've only been here a year with them, so more recently now this year than before. But like she said, like I've learned so much just on this journey, and I feel like without it we wouldn't be able to be where we are right now. So everything has been just, it's like you take a lick and you just keep rolling with the punches, because
no, you're right. Go ahead.
That's all you really can do at this
point. Give me one of those letdowns.
I don't know. Like you said, like every letdown in hindsight, none of them are really letdowns. Like there was even a point at the beginning of the year we lost our entire band. And then most people were like, okay, well, that's it. That's going to be it for you guys. And honestly, it was probably one of those critical moments when we decided to just keep on pushing 1,000 more doors open. It's like, okay, it's not all the extra. It's about this. It's about the three of us and us coming together and keep pushing forward towards our dream.
Austria. Come on. Can y'all explain? Come on. We got 2-3 minutes. Y'all got to tell about Austria. And then y'all about to be that fast.
The food, look, I'm gonna say my part. The food was
the food
was super good.
That was so surprising. Austria was so incredible. But Austria, I believe, was the moment that we were able to see ourselves at the next level.
Wow.
It was. We've never really been in front of the crowd of 6,000 plus, and just that level of people and energy. Just, it truly was an opportunity for us to see us at the next level and doing bigger things. And so I always tell them, like, we got to see it before we see it. And so I think that was definitely one of those moments. So,
hey, look, something happening tonight.
Yes, tonight at Rock and Roll, doors are opening at 8:00, and we are having our official New Orleans album release party, because we
New Orleans or New Orleans? Which one you want?
Because we re-released it while we were in Austria, and then our inbox got flooded. Like, no, y'all did not just release y'all's album in Europe, and we're like, wait a minute, no, we gotta bring it back home. We gotta do it. Gotta do it in NOLA.
Come on, it's happening at
Rock and Roll, 8:00. Don't miss it. Look, if you have plans to do something else, cancel it. And come on out to Rock and Roll, y'all. I think that, like, I told Deb earlier, I was like, whether we have one person or whether we have 1,000, like tonight is our night.
I feel y'all energy. Y'all came to the show with it. Y'all came up the stairs with it. I'm like, who that is coming up here?
Floating in. Listen, but please come in.
And it's family friendly, so don't say I don't have a baby. Bring your babies, buy them a lane, let them do some bowling while you do some dancing. Everybody's having fun tonight.
Back there and grab a wheelchair.
Wow.
Hyperphlyy
tonight at Rock and Roll at 8 p.m. You gotta get there. Bring the entire family. Bring your cousin, your mother, your grandma, Pookie, Ray, Brandon. Hey, listen, thank you all so very much for stopping by one more time. We'll be right back with Miss Morgan Taylor.
Yeah.
The New Orleans Jazz Museum at the Mint. Admission is only $6.
Hey y'all, it's Morgan's first interview,
Yes.
and I have the privilege to launch her into something so amazing.
Yes, I'm so
It's her
excited to go.
first interview. You scared? Or?
A little bit, a little nervous, but nothing we can't handle.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know how
Coming up.
talk about teamwork, baby, we get shots.
12:30 a.m. The People's Station.
You ready? All right, come on, let's go. You got the questions, huh, Mother? Okay. Yo! Ah! Hey, Jazz, I told you I'm coming back with my 2 bars next week. I keep on practicing on them. Come on.
You did that last.
Ah! I'm coming with my 2 bars. I'm gonna come over here and lay them, bro. I'm telling you, Hyperphlyy ain't gonna have nothing on me when I come back here. Hey, listen, man, we're excited. Welcome back to the TalkJay Radio Show. We're extremely excited to have Mr. Melvin Frazier. Don't forget tomorrow at Lario Center, Hoops for the Homeless. You have to be there. Support that brother in tackling some of our big issues, some of our crucial issues of our city as well as our state and country. Hyperphlyy is going to be at Rock and Bowl tonight at 8 p.m. releasing their new single, Out of the Mud. I mean, an interesting group of people. Vocals are clean. They are amazing. But, man, listen, I'm excited to end the show today with Miss Morgan Taylor. I mean, come on, man. It's exciting to have amazing people to be able to be in the studio with you. So let me go ahead on and jump into it. Welcome to the TalkJay Radio Show.
Thank you so much.
Morgan Frazier, interview. We're excited to have her with us today, and we had an opportunity to go check IG out. You know, you can kind of pick up on people in IG nowadays and see all the various things and wonderful things that you are doing in our community and with our young entrepreneurs today. We want to say thank you to all of our first-time listeners. Continue to tune in to Facebook and WBOK 12:30 a.m. online, whether it's by radio, whether it's visual. Call in 504-260-9265. Morgan, thank you again for stopping by and chilling with us today on a Friday, man. On Friday, you know, Big Friday. That's what I'm talking about. So listen, Mark, let's jump into it. How did you break into the hair industry? I see the curls.
I got the curls popping. But so originally, my mom, she's been doing hair and owning a very well-known multicultural hair salon in the city of New Orleans for over 30 years. So, I would say about 4 or 5 years ago, I decided to pursue hair, and I moved to Los Angeles, which, you know, most people, you know, you would want to go out of state to learn, your trade in a sense, but I decided to drop out of beauty school and come back home because why not learn from my mom? Wow. She has these great, years of experience and all this great knowledge. So I decided to move back to New Orleans and get my barber's license, working in the salon, and everything just kind of took off from there.
Let me ask you a question. You said something that I think is important. You said you seen your mother doing it, and I often say this, that kids only replay what has been displayed before, and some things that you can get, it's not taught by nobody else. It can be right there at home. So how beneficial that was for you, and I'm saying that because a lot of parents, they think everybody else have more to offer to their kids than themselves. But how important that was for you growing up seeing that?
Well, it was very important. I mean, I think, I didn't at first want to do hair. I honestly didn't even like to get my hair done by my mama. So I was always the kid. They were like, "Oh, that your mom does hair." You were fine in between your mom and
no,
but they would be like, "Your hair's not done. Your mom does hair. What's going on? Like, what's going on?" I actually, once I moved to LA and kind of got a feel for it and really saw that I enjoyed it, then I was like, well, why not learn everything that she knows? Then I can grow and build and, achieve new levels that she might have not been able to achieve, just being.
And so if I throw it on the table to ask you that difference between, because I'm pastor and, but, I tell people that you ought to follow your passion, your purpose, your gift. If you can describe, like, what's that difference between a gift and an occupation?
Well, I would say for me, I've always loved helping people.
So it's bigger than hair.
It's bigger than hair for
come
me.
on.
You know, helping people to learn to accept themselves and love themselves, you know, for what is actually on their head. You know, if your hair's not growing properly, you know, just go bald or whatever. Like, you know, whatever suits you. I think, you know, definitely following your passion though, but finding it also, it takes time.
So let's jump into that. So this is why I tackle these issues because you have so many kids go to college, right?
Yeah.
And some of them graduate after 10 years of being in there because they didn't switch their major so many different times. And then you have people who are risk takers who move to different cities and different states. My story is run parallel with yours. I went off to Maryland and came back after 5 years and tapped into things that was up north that we don't see down here in our particular context. So, you know, I'm asking you that about that gift, that passion, and how was that finding that? You have so many options, right? You can go and be whatever it is that you put your mind to, but how was it trying to find that passion? And if there was any frustration along the way?
Of course there was frustration along the way. You know, everybody was like, why would you move from LA to come back to New Orleans? And I'm like, why not? Why not bring, you know, that LA vibe or, you know, just that knowledge of what my mom has, those years of experience.
Back home.
Back home.
So that's the same question I get.
And then, you know, she's older, so, you know, being the new generation to continue all those things. You know what I mean?
That's the same question I get. Why come back? You know, they always say, why come back to New Orleans? And I always tell them this thing is about making impact more than making impressions, right? It's more than just owning a salon, is more than just doing hair. You said something, and I won't keep on meddling right there. But you said something that if a person want to grow their hair, I am a big India.Arie fan.
Okay.
Right?
Beautiful.
So, you know, when she come out, I am not my hair.
Love it.
Oh, you're talking about. You know, when my girl India say, slow down, baby, you're going too fast. You got your hands in the air and your feet on the gas. You're about to wreck your future running from your past. Slow down, baby, you're going too fast. But anyway, she was talking about that your hair. You got to embody who you are.
Exactly.
And so that was interesting to hear that. So how has your entrepreneur journey been?
I would say my entrepreneurial journey. It probably started maybe like 3 years ago when I decided to invest in myself as a hairstylist. You know, moving back home and getting that experience, learning from my mom was great, but then taking it a step further and investing in myself and paying for different classes in different cities, like flying in New York and, you know, learning how to cut curly hair. They don't have anybody that does that in the city.
By the way, you and moms, y'all curls was just, you know, dangling. It was dope.
They going.
They popping, right? So that was interesting you said, and I think every entrepreneur who have made it and who have created substantial wealth would tell every person to invest in yourself.
Yes, that's the biggest thing.
Get out of your culture and go see.
Comfort zone too. You just gotta see something new. You know.
You got to see something new and something different.
Yeah, exactly.
That sparks
to
your
know
creativity.
that you can come back home and make it what you want it to be, you know?
Do you find yourself like picking up from other people?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Going, you know, living in LA and being around all those people, you know, coming back home and coming back to who I am and where I'm from and being able to bring that same, you know, love and respect and newness. You know what I mean? Like in the hair industry, you got to stay abreast on all the new things. So just bringing those new trends down here.
So look, you know, I got to ask this question. So what makes Ringlets different, flyer than any other salon in the country? Not just the city. In the country. I'm talking big stuff now.
Well, we are a very well-known multicultural hair salon specializing in all textures. We are Black-owned inside of the Hilton Riverside. Downtown New Orleans. We specialize in weddings, but also that all of our stylists, I can honestly say, we all really care.
Wow.
We all really genuinely care about the people. You know what I mean? It's easy to go into a hair salon or a barbershop and just, you know, have them start cutting you, but not really figuring out what your lifestyle is. You know, are you going to be able to come back for a cut in the next 3 weeks, or are you waiting like 6 months? You know what I mean? You know, just really understanding who the person is and finding out like their story and you know, understanding what they really need.
And all of it's relational, right?
Exactly.
When they think back in New Orleans, they think about the experience. They think about how you made them feel, and that level of comfort, right?
Exactly.
So ringless, that's big what you said, because I don't think a lot of owners can say that about their stylists.
Yeah, truly.
That they actually care about the people, and I thought that was humongous.
So that means when everyone walks out the door, we're like, you know, please call me. Like, let me know if you like it. Like, how you woke up this morning?
Yeah.
Is everything all right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're trying to keep that relationship open, that door open, to where, you know, there can be no discrepancies. You know, we want to keep happy clients.
That's big. I think that's you know, the only thing I be thinking about. That's right. The only thing I be thinking about is like barbershop. You know, when Ice Cube and them was fussing and all that kind of stuff, man. And so I'm trying to relate it vividly in my mind.
You know.
But so let me ask you another question. What make you stand out amongst your peers that work beside you in the salon? What makes you Morgan Taylor Hair? Morgan Taylor Hair.
Yes.
Morgan Taylor Hair.
Hey,
Morgan
doesn't
Taylor
it have
Hair.
a ring to
Morgan
it?
Yeah, I'm trying.
But I would say I am a whole food plant-based vegan, so I do feel that my energy is contagious. Yes.
I've been eating vegan off and on.
Come on.
For the last 6 months.
Keep it up. You got it.
Potato mashed potato. I'm saying
There you go, mashed potato. There you go. But you know, I really do love helping people, and you know, I think I bring that to the salon aspect as well as, you know, being an individual that, you know, stand out different. But I would say definitely just need care.
Let me ask you, you can chime in at any moment, and this is not on our strip and all that, but I really, you know, I think this is vitally important to tell every person that's listening. Thank you to those who are listening and tuning in for the very first time. And at any time you can call in 504-260-9265. I think this is a message that should be spreaded abroad to every person that want to create wealth, that want to create healthy relationships, that want to have long-lasting success, is that whenever you become a part of anything, you want to add value.
Exactly.
Right? I think that is one of the biggest things that so I just finished reading Dapper Dan book, and Dapper Dan talks about how he just wanted to serve people and to how to make fashion what it was, right? From Dapper Dan to Clarence Avant. Clarence Avant talks about how can I serve people, and I think in today's society, from entrepreneurs all the way over to people who are in corporate America, I think their philosophy behind getting ahead has been dwarfed for years. And all of us got to come back to that standard thing. How can I serve the next man?
Right.
And how can I be an answer to somebody's question and be a solution to somebody's problem? And so, you know, what you think about that, you know?
I definitely think that, you know, it's very important to add value to your team. You know, that's what it's a team for.
You don't want nobody come taking away from you.
Yeah, you don't want anybody that's gonna come into the room and just drain all the air out. You know, we're not gonna be able to breathe. You know?
Right. You want people to add to the salon. Tell us what a salon is. Tell us what
the salon is located.
Now you talking. Now you talking. But
I had a loss for words.
Yeah, you all right.
But we are located, Ringlet's Hair Salon is located in the Hilton Riverside, downtown New Orleans, right next to the Riverwalk.
You want to say New Orleans or New Orleans or New Orleans? They said all
New Orleans, you know, all of them. New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yes. And how can they contact you on all our social media platforms?
You guys can contact me at Morgan Taylor Hair on Instagram, or log on to ringlets.com. You know, you can schedule a consultation. Talk to me a little bit.
That's right.
Schedule now.
Listen, Morgan, thank you so very much for stopping by the TalkJay radio show. We'll be right back in a few more seconds so we can end the show. I hate that Fridays go to it. It's just too much fun in the studio.